name's Ray, and today I wanted to talk about a story time I have. Today I'm going to be talking about a horrible, and I'm not exaggerating, a horrible experience I went through. Not necessarily traumatic, but incredibly fucking embarrassing. Now before I go into the story, do not judge me, okay? We've all been there. We've all done some terrible things, and I am no exception. I was 18 years old, and I was a freshman in college. You know what this means. Every freshman girl in college wants to experience the older men and go around, hook up with every guy, and I was no fucking different. So I'd been on my fair share of Tinder dates. But this one was special. This Tinder date I'm about to speak about was life-changing. At this time, I was honestly willing to hook up with most people. I was just bored, and I just kind of let them walk over me. I still kind of do. I was on Tinder just swiping away, matching with whatever cute girl or guy I saw, and there was this one guy. He was pretty cute, but I didn't think anything of it. So I just swiped and we matched, but I never commented, never texted him, never said anything. Now, track forward about a week later, and I'm sitting in my courtyard at my university that's right by my dorm. And as I'm sitting at my dorm minding my own goddamn business, this man that I matched with on Tinder a week ago decides to walk up to me and sit next to me. He's 6 foot tall, he's got it going on, he's got curly hair, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just talk to him. Worst fucking mistake of my life, let me tell you that. So when I was sitting down just minding my own business with this man, he decided to tell me about himself. That's always a red flag when it's a man. The first thing that I'm told, he runs a subreddit, and not a good one. Before he did Reddit, he was on 4chan. Fucking 4chan. Now that should have been the number one indicator that I was gonna have an awful experience, but I was blinded by how attractive he was. He continued to explain to me that he's Muslim, which I don't have a problem with, of course, but he told me what came with being from a Muslim family. He had a curfew of 7 p.m., he had never been alone with a girl before, even kissed a girl, and he had all these problems. His parents were crazy, he got his phone tracked, he lived 30 minutes away, and I was like, this is not good, okay? I do not want to be around this. I decided I'm gonna walk away. While I'm walking, he decides to join. And I'm like, you know what, Ray? This could be a nice moment to meet someone new. So I brought him back to my dorm with me. I only went to my dorm to get a fucking popsicle. This is what the worst part really comes to, right? I go into the mini fridge to grab a strawberry popsicle. I open it up, I start eating it, and I look behind me, and there he is, butt naked. He decided to take all of his clothes off, and I'm just like, what are you doing? And I go sit on my desk chair, and he is just like, I really want you. I'm like, you know what? It's 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. I don't really know you. I don't know if I'm down. He decides to jump over me, and I look up. I saw some terrible things. Jumps over me and hops onto my 6 foot tall dorm bed. And he's like, please, suck it. No, I don't want to. He's like, please. And I'm like, I don't really want to. And then it goes back and forth. Fuck! Fine, okay, I'll suck your dick. And so I got on top, and I was doing my thing, and let me tell you, this man was not packing. It was surprisingly small for how tall he was. I was very disappointed, but I was just doing my thing, so I was like, you know what, the faster this gets over with, the faster I can leave. 2 minutes in, I hear, and I'm like, what the fuck could this be? So I stop, and I look up, and I say, are you okay? And to my surprise, he is crying. Full-blown crying. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong? I'm literally sucking your ding-dong right now. What the fuck is going on? And he looks at me and he's like, Ray, this is the best feeling I've ever had, and starts crying. There were a lot of routes I could have gone to. There's a lot of things I could have done to really make this a better situation for myself. I could have patted him, been there as a friend, but I couldn't do that. So my solution was to start hysterically laughing at him. I have his ding-dong in my hand, I'm just laughing uncontrollably. When you see that as a man, you don't tend to react as good as you want to, so he started actually crying this time, full-blown crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, you're laughing at me. And I'm like, well, it's kind of funny. And so he gets up, puts his pants on, and he's like, let's go. And I'm like, you don't have to tell me twice. And so we're walking back to campus, or we're walking back to class. I literally could not fucking handle it. I have never been so embarrassed to be around a man. Like, I literally thought everyone was looking down on me for being next to this man. So mid-conversation, I just walked away. I said goodbye and walked away. But then I found out after that he deleted his Tinder, and then he deleted his Instagram and deleted everything. He deleted his entire digital footprint. So that was really funny, you know. I was like, wow, I really changed this man. Now flash forward 3 months later, and it's a new semester of college, and I go to my English honors class, and to my surprise, I see him sitting right next to me. The look of horror in his eyes, I'm literally not exaggerating. I couldn't fucking handle it. We're doing this icebreaker in class, and my professor is just moving us around, talking to people in our class, and it finally comes to me and him. And I'm like, hey, how are you? And he's like, you know what? I'm really good, but I don't think I'm gonna go here anymore. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't think I can handle this. And then he walked out of class. And then I found out that he dropped out of college. And now I have no idea where he is. But if you're listening to this, maybe don't cry while someone's giving you a head. And so a couple months after this experience, I was still on Tinder, still single, still hadn't found a boyfriend. And I was just really fucking bored, and I just wanted to go hook up with someone. I was sick of falling in love with every goddamn guy I would meet. So I decided on this Tinder date, I was just gonna go strictly to hook up and then do nothing else, never talk to this guy again. So going on with that intentions, I was kind of a fucking bitch. He picked me up from my dorm and we walked back to his apartment, which was about a mile. And so we're walking to his apartment, and he's cute, you know, he's a cute guy, super nice, and he cooks me pasta. I'm like, okay, this guy's cool. And then as we're sitting there, he starts to tell me about himself. And you know, this is kind of a recurring theme. Once they start talking about themselves, I kind of back away. This guy started telling me a fun little story. A couple fun little stories. The first one being that he catfished his best friend for 6 months as a girl he fell in love with and then posted it online. The second story is how he stalked a teacher until they got fired by using blackmail. You know what? I was desperate, so I still hooked up with him. I hooked up with him and I didn't even receive anything. What bullshit. I never saw him again, specifically because of that as well. And then it's about 2 a.m. by now. He offers for me to sleep over before, but now that he fell asleep, I kind of don't want to stay there. So I wake his ass up and I tell him to Uber me. And he says I better get to fucking walking. So I walked home from an apartment in the middle of 2 a.m. all by myself. Now he's dating one of my close friends. Moral of the story is, girls, and my gay men out there, Tinder is a hellscape. All it is a bunch of white men holding fish, and is a bunch of people that use stupid fucking pickup lines that make you look like a fucking idiot, and it's not worth it. It is not worth the Tinder experience. But, you know, I'm also really thankful for the Tinder experience. Found my boyfriend on there, and we've been dating for a year now, or over a year. Just be really careful on Tinder. Don't go out with guys you don't trust. And if a guy just decides to come up to you, tells you about his 4chan, I would recommend backing away. If you like this video, let me know. I have many more story times to go through. Like the one time my ex put a gun to my head and then called me a failed abortion. If you would like to hear that, let me know. Okay, thank you for coming.